Hello everyone and welcome back to the MvP Invitational. My name is Axel Toss, joined by Axlab. We're in the middle of a series between Stork and Idra. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2.
Yeah, let's go right into it. Game 2's on Ohana. Why don't you introduce our players here?
All right, in the bottom right-hand location of Ohana, we have the red Zerg player currently down 0-1. His name is Idra, of course from Evil Geniuses. His opponent in the top left-hand location, the blue Protoss player. Nice little gateway timing in the last game. He is Stork. Let's see if he can bring it back, or at least continue his success in 2-0, the MLG Pro.
Yeah. I mean, and what's interesting here is I think Idra was just so caught off guard.
Yeah.
And this is where Idra has such strong knowledge of these Brood War players that them almost might be playing against them, because Stork is known as a super macro-focused player.
Right.
So Idra knows that, but then what happened is Stork's new to SC2. So his style might be changing. We don't even know what to see out of Stork as far as StarCraft 2 goes.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of Brood War players not only switching styles, but switching races.
I mean, Idra himself did that. He's played Terran and Brood War, and now he's Zerg. So, I mean, really, Idra's knowledge could almost play against him in a bit, because he could be, we saw last game, I think he was just really so confident. It was probably some light Zell pressure with a third behind it that he just was just totally caught off guard.
Yeah, and Stork did a great job hiding those 3 gateways and, again, putting down that gas at his natural expansion to try to throw his opponent off. But it should be interesting to see, you know, what happens on this map. I mean, Stork, like, 2-base timings work fairly well in Ohana. However, this map has been played long enough where I feel like maybe a lot of Zerg players have figured out those 2-base timings and aren't as receptive to dying to them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it's just if the Zerg can smell it out quick enough.
Yeah.
Zergs have gotten good enough now that they know it's coming to almost always stop it. There was a period where even if they knew it's coming, if it's executed well enough, it'll still work. And with an Immortal Sentry timing, that's still you can still force it if your micro is good enough, and your opponent makes it a little bit of a sloppy engagement. But it is now more that if you want to do 2-base timing, you got to be really sneaky, like what Stork did last game. And wow, this is really interesting.
Yeah, we got 2 gates. Does he have a Zealots, I guess? Yeah,
and he made a full wall off, so Zergies can't run by. Which is really, really interesting. It's kind of almost in like old school Brood War. There was a build like this for a little while, where Protoss would do this, and they're like the Zerglings can pound the wall a bit, but eventually the Zealots come out, and then and the Zealots can even be aggressive. They don't have to keep one back to guard the wall. They can just keep sending them out there.
So how does Idra? I mean, Idra sees all of this.
Yeah.
Is there a proper reaction to this?
Well, you know, one thing, he could try some type of crazy fast roach rush. And he might get a win. But you know what? I mean, the thing is if Stork scouted that out and quickly went to Stalkers, he just started immediately teching.
Gas, Cybercore right away.
Yeah, exactly. Then it would fail. So that's more of like a you know, hope you can catch him off guard move. I don't think Idra's going to do that at all. I think he's just going to play it like a normal game, but be forced to drone less and build more defense. But then, of course, Stork's going to have a slower tech as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously Idra's going to know that. He's going to know his opponent is going to have this lower tech. So, you know, in his mind, his own timings are going to change a little bit to, you know, keep himself safe and whatnot.
He's definitely going to get speed before third, and let's see if he takes the drones off gas as he gets 100.
Oh, and took one off. Going to keep one on.
Yeah. So this is so he is going to plan on keep on a little bit of gas. Maybe he's going to do some 2-base layer play. But he's definitely going to get a lot of speed and early to try to get some good trades.
Might have been on accident.
Yeah, just got a little bit extra gas there just to maybe invest it.
All right, here come the Zealots from Stork. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the field. 5. Is he still producing them? No, so he has 5 Zealots here. Let's see how much damage this can do. There's no spines here at the natural expansion of Idra. He's only making lings at this point. Has the queen. It's not like these Zealots have +1.
Yeah.
Look at this. Stork's making 2 more Zealots. So Stork really investing a lot into these early Zealots, really trying to do a lot of damage to Idra.
Oh, nice surround by the Zerglings on the Zealots, and they're going to go down without being too cost efficient at all.
Yeah, and again, these Zerglings are still slow. Speed is at 70%. The Zealots die incredibly fast, and Stork is going to back away. And I think Idra is feeling really comfortable right now. The Zealots didn't do much at all. Nothing
but drones in that production line. I mean, Idra did have to make all these Zerglings early, and of course, Stork made all the Zealots early. That really kind of died. So the question is did this build work out with Stork having more probes, which is, I think, the whole goal behind it.
Yeah. Look at that probe count really quick. Okay, is that 34?
He's got a few more, but Idra has total map control with faster speed than normal, so I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say either player's massively ahead by any means at this point in the game.
Yeah, this is definitely a pretty darn unique game compared to most standard PvZs. We see a Stargate follow-up here from Stork, and we also have a Forge about to complete. Two Zealots still trying to do some damage, perhaps trying to deny this third. Idra's going to have none of that. These Links should be able to clean those up, and yeah.
This is almost reminiscent of an old Kiwikake build, where he would open with this 2-gate pressure.
Kiwikake is on Root Gaming, by the way.
Yeah. And then behind that, he would go double Starport. And the idea is that if the Zerg takes a late third, they build less Queens and more Zerglings. Then of course, they're much weaker against the airplay. They have less creeps, but they have less Queens. So it's kind of trying to take advantage of that. Of course, it fell out of fashion because as soon as your opponent knows what's up, they just build more Queens.
Right.
So Stork is not going to be nearly as committed to that build. He's just going to get a couple air units, probably take some map control. And then let's see if he's going to look to take a third behind that air, or if he's going to add in more production or some more tech of some kind.
He doesn't have any sentries right now. You know, the most of his gas he's using on Void Rays.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me. I feel like, you know, sentries are a pretty staple unit at least this point of ZVP when your opponent, you know, could potentially be throwing a lot of units at you at your third. You want to have a lot of sentries building up that energy so you can eventually have a lot of force fields available to potentially defend against any aggression from the Zerg player.
Yeah, the faster you get them, of course, the stronger they'll be in the late game, both for the mid game.
Yes.
Both for if you want to do 2-base push, or like you said, trying to defend at third. So he's getting that robotics, and he's starting to upgrade his ground attack. Let's see what Idra's doing. So this time, Idra, of course, is getting that 4th hatchery. Going to have a lot more production this game. Still on 4 gas.
Getting a missile upgrade.
Yeah. So maybe after that opening, he senses some kind of weakness, and he wants to. Does he have a Roach Horn?
Yes.
Okay.
Does.
Yes, he does. Okay.
Maybe just focus on denying the third of your opponent at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's either going to be. So I think he's definitely going to commit to these roaches, and it's either to deny a third or, of course, to defend against any type of 2-base pressure.
All right, Queen's trying to track down these air units. We also have spores going down in every base. Idra playing incredibly safe. Some Zerg players like being a little bit greedy and not necessarily building as many spores because, of course, you know, you're killing a drone. But Idra should be able to hold off this harassment fairly easily. One Queen getting picked up there from Idra. And Spores trying to waddle their way forward to try to defend these Queens.
Yeah, these Queens were a little bit too far out. He's going to lose one of them. Oh, but he's going to get a Phoenix. Oh, no, a little bit of mistargeting there. Didn't quite get that red Phoenix. So that's a little bit of a win for Stork, of course. If all you lose is life, the shield you generate, and anytime you kill Queen is a good thing.
It looks like behind this, Stork adding on 2 gateways and starting with some Immortal production. Just gonna looks like he's just gonna set up his third here. There's a Ling there from Idra. This is the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah.
As a Protoss, you want to protect that Pro, make sure he doesn't die. You don't want to delay that third more than you need to. Ling gets eliminated. Overseer coming forward. He's gonna die pretty fast. And oh, maybe not. I'm a liar.
So what's nice here, so Idra knows there's a bunch of sentries. Now he sees that robotics, so he knows it's going to be some type of sentry, you know, robotics type defensive play. And so he's opting not, he's getting that roach speed, but he's also getting the Spire. So we'll see, is he going to go for roach aggression, or does he have confidence that Stork's going to hit good enough force fields that it's not going to work? I
feel like he wants to go for Muta here. I mean, he has both of his gases at his third base. He saw his opponent transitioning away from Stargates because he saw the Robo, he saw all the sentries, and he saw, I think he saw an Immortal, so he knows his opponent is spending a lot of gas on the sentries and Immortals and a Robo transition, and not on additional Phoenixes. So I feel like Mutas would definitely be a good choice here.
Yeah. So he's got that Spire, it's finishing up. He's also got an Infestation Pit, and he did get Roach Speed. So one thing that some Zergs do is they'll get a squad of 10 Mutalists off the bat.
And then transition.
Yeah, and the Mutas are there, they'll force some cannons, and then if they can snipe the sentries with those Mutas, all of a sudden your Roach Infestor army gets insanely powerful.
And also, like, when you go for Mutas, immediately taking like a 4th and a 5th is an option, because again, you're keeping your opponent at home. But again, we'll see what happens. We have Pathogen Glands on the way here. Stork setting up that third base. Let's see if Idra tries to do any pressure to that whatsoever. Meanwhile, he's just taking down these rocks, taking his 4th base. And the Spire's done, but we're not seeing any Mutas in production.
It's a ton of gas, but it may be, I mean, he could go Mutas, or he could just go Corruptor and Infestor. Anticipating Colossi and also wanting to get rid of those Phoenixes.
Yeah. We'll see what he ends up doing here. He's up 133 to 119, and that supply income tab shows 81 to 65. So Idra at a great drone count here. And yeah, there we go. 9 Infestors, just throwing those up, and also a Hive on the way. So Idra may be changing his mind as this game goes along. But as it stands, it looks like he's just going to start setting up for that Infestor Broodlord play.
Yeah. I mean, the Hive is slightly later than your normal fast tech game, but this game also opened up slightly unusually, so it's going right along in time. And is Stork going to try to tech up as well? Looks like Twilight Council's going
Does Stork
down.
have his timing here where he can abuse like take advantage of the Greater Spire timing where his opponent's not going to have
definitely he could try, but his army right now is just too small to engage Zerg open. As soon as those infestors pop with some fungals, that small army is really going to get torn apart, especially once these corruptors come out. But if he can scare Idra into not banking enough for Broodlords, getting more roaches, that's always a good thing.
All right, looks like Idra backing up to his side of the map. Plenty of infestors here, lots of lings, roaches, some queens mixed in. Both these players actually Stork just poking and prodding for now, adding on 3 additional gateways.
Stork knows his army was too small to go on creep. If he got caught by Fungu, he'd have been in trouble. He just sent some zealots there to clear up some of those creep tumors. Oh, but Idra is angry at that. He says that observer is not going to get away with killing my creep tumors.
Nice.
War Prism sneaking around along the right side.
Ooh.
And a second robotics. This is something that's gotten popular. I think it's just.
It might not be necessary. Yeah. We'll see. All right, 4 zealots being added on here from Stark. He's going to throw those into that War Prism. Meanwhile, just a changeling doing some scouting here for
bringing
Stork.
The Phoenix with it. Oh, is he going to try to pick off the queen or maybe some infestors as they come back?
Maybe take down the spore with the zealots, so his phoenixes can do whatever they want. Or maybe just clearing out overlords so his warp prism isn't seen. But there's a bunch of units being thrown down. So many zealots being warped in here from Stork going right after the middle line. Let's see, does he target on the hive? Does he target on drones? Does he target on hatcheries? Does he target on the queen? Looks like he's going for a bunch of things, deviating his zealots away from each other here. And it looks like Idra should be able to handle this without too much trouble.
Yeah. I mean, was that 1 queen down? Maybe a couple drones? I mean, they're still killing a lot of Zerglings, so they're trading decently. But it wasn't, definitely not a win for Stork by any large margin.
And that was a lot of investment, but behind this still continuing Colossi production. And the Greater Spire, it's almost done. It's about to finish. It's just about to go into Broodlord production. Now, Stork does have a Stargate, but I don't see...
No, he's really spending all his gas on his Colossi.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one way to deal with Broodlords. If you get enough Colossi that the Broodings die instantly, then the Stalkers can deal with them pretty well. And the problem there is that the Zerg is really good with their fungals.
Looks like Idra wants to engage this right away. Stork, the second he went on creep, Idra choosing to engage, has those Corruptors in the air, of course. Before morphing them into Broodlords, you can target fire those Colossi, and that's exactly what he's doing. Very nice force fields here from Stork, though. Idra trying to throw down those fungals, all the Colossi getting killed, and now Idra needs those Broodlords on the field to help defend against this.
But his Corruptors stayed a little bit too long, and only one of them limps back home.
86 lings in production there from Idra, which is perfect composition to have against a Colossus-less. Is that a word? I don't know. It is now. A Colossus-less army from Stork, but he does have 1 Colossus remaining.
And he's pumping them 2 at a time, so he's got a lot of Colossi reproduction capabilities. And he's coming in on Idra's 4th.
Idra throwing down some fungals onto that main army. All the Zerglings swarming in here. The Colossus doing a lot of damage to the Zerglings. Where are the Corruptors? There's 5 on the way. Another Colossus is going to come in and join it. Yeah, so Transfuses going down here and there from Idra as well, but I think Stork is...
These Colossi are just tearing him up.
He's just too strong right now. He's just brute forcing Idra at this point, just absorbing the fungals, taking down this hatchery at the middle left as well. And Stork has to make sure to keep those expensive units alive, doesn't want to overextend by any means. You take down the hatchery, I feel like this is a good time to back up, replenish, and then go for another attack again, and just keep denying the 4th of your opponent.
Idra has plenty of money, but he has no way to spend it. He's getting a couple of roaches, a couple of Zerglings, but he was really saving his money for those Broodlords, and he just can't. He can't get an opportunity to morph them.
He only has 2 larvae right now. By the way, I remember he made those 86 Zerglings. But here we go, Stork maneuvering to the middle of the map, probably going to go all the way to the right-hand side and just focus on denying the 4th of his opponent. And I feel like Stork is definitely in a great situation here.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to try to establish his own 4th now. Idra's been a little bit annoying with Zerglings over there. He's got 1 Zealot standing guard with a kill there. But actually, there's no probe coming out quite yet. Maybe just want to clearing up some creep and reinforce his Colossi count.
All right, Stork heading up here. Idra has 4 Broodlords on the way and already 4 on the field. Trying to get some key fungals down. But Stork with some pretty nice positioning here has that War Prism to be able to reinforce. And there's the blink underneath the Broodlords, taking out 2 immediately, 3 immediately. Not going to get the 4th. The fungal going down here from Idra. And Stork's Colossi are still alive, still doing so much damage to this ground army. Another blink going down, and that Broodlord's going to fall. And Stork, again, in such a good position.
Yeah.
He's doing everything right here. Also has +3 ground weapons on the way. Coming to his opponent's natural, blinking underneath the Broodlords once again, and Idra, what does he do? Trying to get the Infestors forward, trying to fungal those Stalkers, but going to lose some Infestors as he does this. And Stork behind this looks like he's going to take a fourth, but I don't even think he needs it. I feel like there it is. There's the GG from Idra, and Stork is going to take game number 2. He's going to 2-0 Idra.
Yeah, I mean, that was his classic Stork. He never took a bad fight. You know, there wasn't anything like phenomenal control or phenomenal like moments about it, but he was just super, super solid. Every fight he took went in his favor, and it wasn't from crazy micro, it was from only taking good fights.
Right.
And that's the one thing I always love about Stork. And let's actually, let's jump in and take a look at really the game-determining battle there.
Let's do it.
So right here, I mean, Stork is pushing out at a perfect time. Anytime you're max and Stork doesn't have their high-tech units quite out yet, it always favors Protoss, and this is what Stork knows. He's pitting right before Idra gets a chance to morph these Broodlords. Of course, he has the money, but he doesn't quite have the time. Stork's gonna move in here, and I mean, Idra's he's got these Infestors, but they're coming a little bit late to the party. The Corruptors coming first, of course, but they're distracted by the Phoenix. And these force fields are just amazing. Yeah. The Infestors can't get in there. Look at all these Infestors with tons of energy that just can't be really utilized. I mean, he's trying to chain fungal, but he has no damage to back it up. And here he clears out the Claw side, but all these Corruptors go down there.
Once you kill this Colossus, you got to get out of there with those Corruptors.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the problem that went with him there is that he didn't really utilize infested Terrans to help buffer his army. He didn't have enough meat to his army. He had maybe like 15, 20 roaches and a handful of Zerglings, but you need enough ground stuff to last to protect the Corruptors. So if he threw out maybe 30, 40 infested Terrans, he might have had a really good chance of getting the Corruptors out at the end of that battle, morphing the Broodlords, maybe lose the fourth, but then have a giant Broodlord army he could push back with.
All right, well, great play there from Stork, showing he's going to be a contender in this tournament, possibly. Unfortunately for Idra, he's going to fall down 0-2 again. Yeah. These are just the seeding rounds of the regular season of the MLG versus Pro League Invitational. Next up, we're going to have Sulky versus Puma, so no reason to go anywhere. We'll be right back after a quick break.